I ain't no altar boy. I ain't no yes man. No, no. You ain't no God of mine. No, I don't need your blessings to save me. When you thought that I was done, you ain't seen nothing yet. Walk that wire, start that fire, burn it down. Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet. I go harder, let the sun burn. Feel me now. You ain't seen nothing yet. I got this storm in my head, a forest fire in my chest. Look at the time on the clock, man, I'm gonna sleep when I'm dead. Whether you're ready or not, I'm rolling in like a train off the tracks, coming at you. You ain't seen nothing yet. Walk that wire, start that fire, yeah. Burn it down, yeah. You ain't seen nothing yet. I go harder, let the sun burn. Feel me now. You ain't seen nothing yet. My heart, my soul, my fight, my appetite won't stop, won't quit. I come back every time. My heart, my soul, my fight, my appetite won't stop, won't quit. I come back every time. My heart, my soul, my fight, my appetite won't stop, won't quit. I come back every time. You ain't seen nothing yet. Walk that wire, start that fire, yeah. Burn it down, oh yeah. You ain't seen nothing yet. I go harder, let the sun burn. Feel me now. You ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Good Friday, April 15th. It's Mark and Chris with the NWA Exchange podcast, talking about all things Bella Vista and beyond, trying to keep you informed. We got a kind of a good little show for you tonight, talking about some local issues. Let's go ahead and get into this. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, brother, what's going on?
Happy Good Friday to you.
You too.
So,
a lot of stuff going on here tonight.
Another crazy week in beautiful Bella Vista, man.
There's never a dull moment, is there?
Never a dull moment. For a small town, you would think that like it would be a little bit less, I guess entertaining to some degree, right? But there's always something going on in Bella Vista, which I like. Speaking of stuff that's going on, I think you've got some local events for us to start off with.
Yeah, we got a few things going on here in Northwest Arkansas. Spring swap meet at Pig Trail Harley Davidson over on 409 West Hudson in Rogers. It's a buy, sell, or trade motorcycle parts.
Yeah,
So
buddy.
that's taking place tomorrow. I know you're a big motorcycle fan. From 9 to 4 p.m., 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So get out there and buy some parts and maybe a motorcycle. You never know. You know,
you never know when you can. I mean, some of those swap meets, you find some pretty cool stuff, man. Stuff that older motorcycle parts, like if you're doing vintage and all that. You can find, some of these guys, they've got parts in boxes and they're starting to clean up their shops and stuff. And they're like, oh yeah, that's an old rectifier regulator for an old panhead or something, right? And he's there selling it, and you've been looking on eBay for one, you can't find it, and you might find it there.
Yeah. Hey, Easter egg hunt. I know we talked about this last week. 10 a.m. tomorrow at Kingsdale Park, 3 Reardon Drive here in Bella Vista. So age groups are 1 through 12. They're going to break them up in to segments, the age segments. So from 10 to 10:30, they have selfies with the Easter Bunny. From 10:30 a.m., they have egg toy hunt for Bella Vista members. Again, they're going to stagger them by age groups, which is good, so they don't trample over each other.
Yeah.
So 15-minute intervals, 0 to 3 years of age, 4 to 6 years of age, 7 to 9, and 10 to 12. So they also have a magic or a special golden egg. Whoever finds that, I guess.
Like Willy Wonka in the chocolate factory.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I've got a golden ticket.
Yeah, so each age group, if they find that golden egg, they redeem it and they get a special prize. Maybe a brand new car.
A brand new Micro Machine car. No, POA, they do a really good job with those Easter egg hunts. And those kids will clear out those fields like fast, though. I mean, like I can remember few years back, it was cleared within, I don't know, a good 3 minutes, man. I mean, like it's chaos for the younger groups, but it's a good time and I like that the POA is doing something like that.
Yeah, kids love it too. You have a lot of good memories, so anybody has younger kids or grandparents have grandkids, get them out there tomorrow and have a good time. So
I do want to interject one more because this obviously says rain or shine, and we know that we're going to be getting some storms possibly tonight. This one, it's in the morning, so if it is, the weather's not great for you, there is one more. I don't think you got it in your show notes, but I did pull this one up. It's out at Bella Vista Lutheran. They're having their own Easter egg hunt tomorrow at 4 p.m. The address on that is 1990 Forest Hills Boulevard. They will have it outside or inside the church if it's raining. So it's another option if you don't want to get out in the weather or you feel it's too muddy and slippery and you don't really want to deal with that mess. Here's another option for you in the afternoon, and maybe hit both of them up. I don't know. I don't know how much Easter candy you need. It's a twofer, right? It's a twofer. I'm in a little bit of an Easter mood, I mean, I've got my little Easter. It's a little Easter duck, man. He poops, poops candy though.
Pez candy dispensers or something.
The wife came home and he poops candy, man. I mean, so,
oh man,
kind of sounds like some of these politicians, man.
Man. But don't get me going already. It's too early, man.
So, but hey, he's a little pooping duck, man.
All right. So anybody that hasn't filed their taxes, I know you like this. It's coming close for these people that are dragging their feet. And I know those people that they like to ride the lightning. It used to be April
last
15th.
Minute Lucy.
Yeah, April 18th is the cutoff. As long as it's postmarked before midnight. I mean, there's parties of people that do this stuff, man. They wait till the last second. I already put mine in, man. I just pay Uncle Sam and move on.
Well, I saw that news article about the potential delays in people's returns and stuff, and I think this was probably the first year that we got them done out the gate, man. All the paperwork was done. We got it in, got it back quick, man. So, but I was
that's good.
I was worried about that potential backlog, right? I mean, I know some people that it took them 8-9 months to get their taxes back last year. it dragged on forever.
Yeah, we had to wait for some paperwork. The IRS had to amend some paperwork, so that's why it took us a little longer than usual. And I also said they were short at 70 to 80,000 positions. I don't know what happened from last year or the year before, if everybody just after COVID decided they were going to twist off or what. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? I just just get them in before the 18th and you're not going to have any problems. I mean,
hey, shout out to some of our viewers on YouTube. Sally B, full moon for tonight's podcast. All right. Well, things may get a little strange. Who knows? And Brian Warsaw, what's up, fellas? Love the show. Yeah. Hunter Biden stole the golden egg from China. Hope you both have a great Easter with the family. We hope you have a great Easter as well, Brian.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. Hey, your favorite here. You know, everybody has clutter in the garage and laying around in the shed. And I know a few of those people, and I'm one of them. April 29th and 30th, just a reminder, the citywide garage sale. So the hours operation, I'm going to say 8 to 5. I did call on that. I really didn't get any specifics. So if you want to crack that garage door open at 2 a.m., knock yourself out.
Watch out for them early birds, like our favorite comedian says about garage sales.
Put it on Craigslist and in the paper that you're having a garage sale. And a freak show will form on your lawn.
It'll be a freak show.
2 hours before the garage sale is even scheduled to begin.
All right, maybe I'm going to mend the hours. Let's make it like 8 to 5. If I say 2, then there's going to be some people showing up real early in the morning.
You say 8, I mean? People are going to be lined up at 6, man. You know
probably.
It, so.
Yeah, I know. So we talked about this last week. Pedal It Forward Bike Drive. I know we're both big fans of this. It's taking place Saturday, April 23rd from 8 to noon. So anybody that has bikes, I know you had an extra bike. I think was laying around.
A few extra bikes, man. They're getting gone, man. I'm
got a few. Yeah, that's good. It's for a good cause, and there's 4 locations. You can drop it off, or you arrange. Obviously, the fire stations, the 4 fire stations, one in Town Center, the one in Trafalgar here, Glasgow, and on Forest Hills. So. Yep. A lot of opportunities just to drop those by. Keep in mind that that's April 23rd, 8 a.m. to noon. So that'll be brighten some kids' day, you know?
Yeah.
So I know we talked about back in the day our bikes and have good memories.
Your first taste of freedom, man. Then then you get into that Evel Knievel stuff where you're like hitting them dirt ramps and stuff. Yeah. I remember one. I mean, most of my bikes were hand-me-downs. I don't think I got like a brand new bike until I was like maybe 9 or 10. I can't remember.
Really? But did you have the ones with the banana seats, man? I had the banana seat one.
I think that's what I learned to ride on, was the banana seat bike. I can remember. I can remember riding around, and so it was riding in the backyard, kind of an open field backyard, and I could not touch the ground. Right. So I think my mom got me started. I could pedal all day long, right? And she went back in the house to do something, and she had the kitchen window. And so the plan was I just keep on riding by the kitchen window, screaming, "Mom, I need off, Mom, Mom!" And I think she left the kitchen, so it was like 5 minutes of Mom doing the lap, Mom.
I used to have this cheesy. I was a big Evel Knievel fan, and I had that his shirt. Like I used to ride around with it.
Oh, the good old days, and then putting the cards in the spokes. I mean, dude, it's good to be a kid, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Hey, so I know people are thinking about planting now. Tomatoes, vegetables, any kind of perennials and annuals, what have you. The Bella Vista Garden Club is hosting a spring greenhouse sale. Nice. So it's 2 days. So April 22nd is by appointment only. If you want to reach out to them, you need to let them know by April 17th. You need to send them an email. It's bvgcplantsale@gmail.com. So I guess it's a special by appointment only for the first day, the 22nd from 8 to noon. Then the 23rd, they can go from 8 to noon. It's open to everybody. So
was there a Facebook announcement on that we can share out on our page for any of our listeners?
I don't, you know what? I can't recall, Chris, on that, but I will look for it and drop it in there for him. It's located in the Village Wastewater address there, 380 Bella Vista Way. So,
Okay.
And the good thing about this selling the plants is it's going to go to scholarships for horticultural students. So it's
nice.
going to a great cause.
Yeah.
So dogs, man. Every time I look around, there's a dog loose. So we had someone from
a lot of dogs loose, man.
Yeah. Someone from our show, right? Sent in a comment, and what were they? They had a question.
Yeah,
about
they did have some. They had a comment. A point of interest to bring up. Let me go ahead and get that up. It was it was public input basically that animals and on animals and animal control in general, and that Bella Vista has a dog law that says any dog out of its yard or fence has to be on has to have a collar and a leash. And it seems that everyone overlooks this and has a blind eye to anything that has to do with animals, cat or dog. Why doesn't the city and POA print these laws once a month in the paper, sent out to Bella Vista residents? Just a suggestion. It's, I think clarifying what the actual rules are and reminding people, especially if you see a problem with, like if there is a report of problems, dogs running the neighborhoods. I've seen a lot of posts. I think it has something to do with the weather. All this weather that we've had and high winds, stuff coming down. I'm sure dogs are getting loose, trees are knocking gates open and stuff like that. So I think that might be contributing to it. Right. I think the point of this, this public input that we received is really just, I guess, to help remind people to be good neighbors, right? I mean, be responsible animal owners as well. I know everybody thinks their dog's perfect, right? It only takes that one time of that dog, chasing another animal and injuring it, or running out in the road because it's excited, or it gets spooked and hit. Yeah,
there's some valid points. You just don't know. I mean, sometimes a dog gets scared and lashes out, could bite someone, and the last thing we want to do is see something happen to a person or a dog. So it's just a friendly reminder to keep your dogs on a leash when you're walking them. And we know there's times they get loose, things happen. So really good points there, Chris.
Thank you very much, Vicky, for sending in that public comment for us to discuss, and appreciate it. And if you guys have any other suggestions, I mean, obviously, we can reach out to some of the city councilmen, bring this up again. Now, you did put cats in there, and I haven't found anybody that can control a cat. I mean, I'm like, come here. My cat almost acts like a dog, right? And he's still as stubborn as all get out, right? I mean, I'm like, get over here. Get over it. No, he ain't doing it. Unless he wants to. That being said, I think there have been some reports of feral cat problems, and I know that Councilman Snow has started digging in and asking for public input on the feral cat problem. So reach out to Councilman Jerry Snow, give him your input on feral cats in your neighborhood if you're seeing them, and I'm sure that he'll take that information and use it wisely.
Awesome. All right, you want to go to you want to get into it? You want to take a quick break, and we'll break into
15 in. Do we got any other points of topics that we want up? I think for the events that are going on. I mean, obviously everybody's going to be busy with Easter this weekend. Remember the reason for the season, right? And that's it. We'll be right back after this quick break from our non-sponsors. All right, we'll be right back.
Never
We are back from that short little break. So Mark, I think we had a little bit of a follow-up, right? So last week's podcast, we talked about builders, right? And really, it wasn't about builders. It was more or less about the lack of accountability for follow-through, following up with the builders, verifying that people aren't trashing our neighborhoods that we live in. We know that growth, there's always struggle with growth, right? One of those struggles doesn't need to be trashed out neighborhoods, right? And we showed some stuff that was happening on one of the streets down the road. We showed some stuff that was happening on my street, specifically a deck that was dumped back in January. Really thought about it long and hard, and I'm like, 3 people have called on my street multiple times. Somebody's met with the mayor. Still nothing happened. They met with the mayor, I believe it was May, or no, I'm sorry. Not in May. I think it was March 17th. This was after everybody called back in January. Nothing had happened. So I got just a little bit of a hair up my rear, and I said, you know what? I'm going to call the mayor pro tem. So I called the mayor pro tem, Doug Fowler. Doug was very, very receptive. He got with Director of Community Development, Mr. Tapp, and they drove out and they took a look at it, and they were like, "Oh my gosh!" I guess the nerve of anybody to pull up on our street and dump a deck on an unimproved lot, one, was just a little shocking to him. So he made some follow-up calls, gave me a call back, said the city was going to go ahead and start looking into it. They posted on their page about this deck that was dumped, seeking public input for anybody who has any information. Now, why am I bringing this up again? Because I saw a lot of people sharing this post out. Oh, this is horrible, right? This is bad. It was bad back in January when people were sharing the post and they were getting deleted. We had a better chance at identifying who recently got a deck replaced in January, right? But people didn't want to have anything to do with that on their pages, right? But now the city shares it out, and it's like, this is just all up in arms. This is horrible. Some people were looking at it like, oh man, we should show up and just take that wood, right? I don't think you can do that legally, right? According to Mayor Pro Tem Fowler, right? Private property. There are some laws and legal restrictions of what the city can actually do, and it is a time-consuming process. At the end of the day, I want to say, Doug Fowler, customer service 101. The guy gets back with you. He follows up. He asks questions, gives you a call back. That's the type of leadership that I expect to see in a city where they take every phone call is taken with respect. We'll look into it. We'll see what we can do. And we'll get back with you and let you know, even if it's something that they can't do anything about. I appreciate the call back and the explanation, right? And so I just, again, thank you very much, Doug. If this catches, your eye and you hear about this, really
we appreciate you.
That being said, there are still some problems. There's some stuff that does have to be corrected. One of those is we had a big rain event this week, and and you drove by the house, man, again, and they've moved some stuff, but here we go, man. Actually, I think this is probably, there's that burn bell. There's the burn bell, right? You see that guy? Burn bell's in there, right? Surrounded by lumber.
Yeah.
Turn the volume down on this. A lot of rain this week. And then there's the moat, man. This house comes in all inclusive with the moat, man. So I think somebody said this was 30 feet below sea level house.
Well, we had about 3 or 4 inches of rain, but the way that's graded, it's just going right down into the then it was running. Someone was coming up the hillside. So I imagine someone below there that lives there had like a creek going through their house,
Yeah.
So,
that front door area, you can definitely
it's all flooded.
This is all flooded right here.
Right to the front door.
little bit, and I don't even think it was raining at the time you drove by, right? I mean, I don't see any raindrops in the puddle. I mean, there's some massive water runoff, man. I mean, like that's a steep incline dropping down into that moat, man, and you know it's got to be running into the house. Look at the brick; the brick's all saturated on the front side of the house as well. You know, so again, still a lot of room to improve. I guess we're starting though, right? I mean, I think people are starting to hear what we're saying, and again, we're not beating anybody up. We're just talking about issues that can be corrected. All of this can be corrected, right? And so I just wanted to put that little bit of a disclaimer out there. You went by a couple other properties, man, and now this is the epitome of like how it should look, right? You know, nice big dumpster out there, clean and tidy.
Yeah. So these properties, Chris, were up on the west side, up of Edelston area up there, and I mean that house is being worked on. There was a few other houses, but trash containers there, organized. The pallets are piled up, clean, manageable, safe. So you look at those, and then you look at. So I mean, the reason why I wanted to show that is to show there's guys and gals doing the right thing out there. Yeah. So it's not just. It's not we're saying all these builders don't care, but there's guys and gals, like I said, that really keep their area clean, and
they take pride in their work.
You know? What's that? Yeah. No doubt.
Take pride in their work.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I mean, as professionals, right? Everybody should be holding their peers, accountable, right? I mean, what one peer in your profession does, it impacts all. So keep that in mind, like hold each other accountable. We're a community, right? Let's act like it.
Yeah, totally agree, Chris. But I wanted to point that out because, it's one of those things, I think last week people, they look at it and they're like, oh, we're just going after those specific people. We're not doing that. We're pointing out things that need to be corrected. And, those two properties that went by that were new builds look great. So hopefully we can get those other ones, cleaned up in the near future.
Yeah, I mean, like I like to see I like to see that people are taking some of our feedback. They are looking at things that they can do. And I mean I was blown away with the customer service that Doug gave me. I really was. I mean I really did appreciate that. That's the type of feedback I expect. Councilman Snow, same way, man. You call him, he unless he's sleeping or eating, I think that's about it, man. He'll pick up the phone, And so
he's a good guy.
He's a good guy,
Yeah, he is.
And but yeah, I'm happy about that. I don't think I showed the post, that the city posted, but we can try to go back over to that real quick about the deck, right?
Well, you were pretty patient on it. Went back to January, so
yeah.
I mean, you're rolling into April.
So we did share the post out on our Facebook page. The code enforcement officers are looking for any information on this deck. It's been illegally dumped on a vacant lot, 19 Harrington Drive. If you have any info, contact code enforcement at 479-268-4980, and callers may remain anonymous if they wish. So if you had a deck replaced in January, give them a call and say, that may be my deck.
Yeah. We'd appreciate if you could share that out to your, people in the area. Maybe they do know this person or have seen that deck.
At the end of the day, it's about holding people accountable for doing the right thing and, holding bad actors in our community accountable as well.
Right. And it could have been a situation like we said last week. Someone had some deck work done, paid for it to be done and to have it removed. They might not even be aware that this happened, So we're not pointing fingers. We just need to get to the bottom of it. That's all.
Yeah. So, Mark, we got another topic that, it's going to take a little bit to unpack. I know we kind of went through this one a little bit quick. It was just a follow-up update. Just came back from a break, but I think that, we need to get some stuff together, and we're going to take about just a quick short break to get this ready for you. We did an interview with a person yesterday. We'll break down why we did the interview. We'll go into the interview, and then we're going to break it down. So
okay, sounds good.
Be right back, y'all. Got a few little gremlins happening tonight. I don't know if it's this crazy weather, that full moon that Sally B was talking about, but something's acting a little funky with the switching of the production software. We'll have to get into that, I guess, later. Figure that one out. But anyhow, the show must go on. So, Mark, you and I, we started this podcast because we believe in freedom of speech. We're tired of people being silenced.
Yeah.
We noticed that there's an obvious narrative in the community. And contrary to popular belief, people are entitled to their opinions, and it may not align with that narrative. And so I saw something troubling this week. I was poking around on the Nextdoor app, and I don't know if you have that or not.
I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's another alternative media to talk about things, and it's not as I guess restrictive as some of these Facebook groups. It's, I mean, obviously Facebook has this overreaching arm that likes to infringe on speech and call pictures like dangerous pictures and stuff like that. Right. Even though, I mean, like that's an opinion, right? I mean, historical pictures, aren't necessarily damaging to somebody. I mean, I'm sorry if you can't go to a museum and not get triggered, right? Then you should be able to share, a historical event on social media and not get it covered up or blocked or
I agree.
Sometimes people are, put in Facebook jail, right?
Right.
Again, it's that overreaching arm of control that you and I just we unequivocally disagree with. Yeah. And so I'm poking around on the Nextdoor app, and I see a post from a lady talking about one of our groups in Bella Vista, and there were some text messages that were associated with that group.
Okay.
And I saw it, and I was like, man, there's something isn't right. And so this person, they had stated that they had made multiple attempts to, get to the bottom of it and find some common ground and rectify the situation internally before coming out public with it. But those requests went ignored up to the point where they're actually blocked and banned. Yeah, come on, man. We're all neighbors. Yeah. We're all humans. You're not in charge of anybody. You ain't nobody's daddy. You ain't nobody's mama, right? I think we established that a couple weeks ago whenever I said, you ain't my mama. But what I'm saying is it went so far as to see this one group do a concerted effort. What I feel, okay, what I have witnessed and I feel, a concerted effort from multiple groups to silence this one person's information-seeking story that she was, trying to do. I mean, is this how we treat our neighbors, our residents in this community? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think we should be. I'm pretty sure you align with me on that. So we were lucky enough to, I told her, you've been booted off three different groups, and now your post has been removed, in another group, and I don't think it'll be too long until it's removed off of this other alternative app. You have the use of our platform if you want to speak your piece. Reached out, did an interview with her yesterday. Short little interview. I think it's about 16 minutes, man.
Yeah, it was 16 minutes. Yeah.
But this is what we're about, right? We're an alternative source in the community. Alternative source for information, alternative platform, allowing people to get their point of view out without, fear of being booted from the community. So we're gonna play this interview, man, and then we'll come back and we'll break it down.
Okay, let's let it roll.
And they hit it off right away. And I mean, they never had the curtain drawn in between their beds. And so
Just a concerted effort to kind of silence you. I saw your story on what was it? Nextdoor app about a friend of yours being kind of treated poorly by a kind of what I would consider a influential person in this community. We don't like to use definitive names, so that group we will refer to as the Happy Positive Group. Is there sound now? The individual that we're discussing would be named Mr. Positively. All right, sorry about this, y'all. We're such amateurs, man. What you doing, guy? All right, so I believe we have sound now, and I believe we have mics. Can you talk real quick, Mark? I don't hear your mic. I don't see your mic. Just a concerted effort to kind of silence you. I saw your story on what was it? Nextdoor app about a friend of yours being kind of treated poorly by a kind of what I would consider a influential person in this community. We don't like to use definitive names, so that group we will refer to as the Happy Positive Group. The individual that we're discussing would be named Mr. Positively. And we'll just go from there. So if you want to kind of tell your story, give us a little bit of background on you and your Gene's relationship, and we'll go from there.
Well, I'm sorry about the cat.
Oh, it's okay. He's making that debut.
Get the cat. She keeps stepping up, please. I met Gene really in a fun way. His wife was in Highlands Rehab, and my friend, my older friend, was also in Highlands Rehab, and they ended up being roommates. And they hit it off right away. And I mean, like they never had the curtain drawn in between their beds, and so we all just became better friends. And then when she was released to go home, I just kept in touch with them, as they're a great couple, and their son's in Texas. And I knew what it was like trying to care for parents in a different state. And I wanted to be there for them like people were for me here in St. Louis. So we just developed it, and he became family, and she did too. And so we would get together and watch sports, or, we'd get together, go to dinner. And as his eyesight, macular degeneration progressed, then I started becoming, his eyes for him. Like I'd go to the veteran meeting and look over paperwork for him. I went to the lawyers with him and, things like that. And we just had, a great relationship, and he became like a dad to me. I mean, it's been since 15. So it's been a lot of years, and very special man. Losing your wife slowly, and then losing your eyesight. And, he loved golf, and he couldn't play golf anymore. And, so he just basically became a shut-in. And the Happy Positive Group was a great thing for him, because he got this special equipment that he could see the Facebook and the posts. And so he just got, that was he had a lot of fun on it. And he would post good morning, Bella Vista, Merry Christmas, Bella Vista, whatever. But he did receive help from the Happy Positive Group. And he paid for it. He told me that he always gave donations. And one time, and I do remember this, one time he gave them a brand new saw that was still in the box. And wow. He was actually on the news for promoting the Happy Positive Group and the great things that they were doing. And I believe they have done great things. Yeah, I really do. I have seen a trend over the last 2 or 3 years that the core group of that group is dissipated, and it's become pretty much 1 or 2 people. But I don't want to take away for the good things that they've done.
No, I don't think anybody's arguing that they haven't done great things for the community. I mean, I know that they do. I like the fact that they're doing that 6 and 60 and cleaning up stuff. Mm-hmm. They do a lot of positive and good things for the community.
Right. So when I was helping him the other day set up his utilities for Texas, and a weird noise came on his phone, and I had just told this guy to send me a pin to my phone and not Gene. So we thought maybe he got confused. So Gene gave me his phone because he can't see it. And that's when I looked in the text messages, and I found the text from Mr. Happy.
Okay. And so we do have screenshots of those texts that we will show our viewers. We will probably blur out the phone number just to prevent anybody from getting a massive amount of phone calls. But The premise of the text, can you explain those and how you interpreted those?
Well, it was one text, standalone text. There was no, it took me 3 screenshots to get it, but it was one standalone text. There was no text before or after because Gene doesn't know how to text and he can't see it anyway. So when I recognized the name and I looked at it, and, in the beginning it was, it wasn't derogatory or anything. But I kept reading, and then I was appalled at the end when I saw, so here from going out, you are no longer going to be on my social media. And I thought, well, okay, that's, your prerogative. But when I saw that he was also being kicked off of the Happy Group, I thought, now, wait a minute. He didn't do anything. He didn't break any rules. He just didn't use you for your business. How does that work? And I didn't even want to tell Gene about it. I just wanted to try to get it resolved so that he would never have known about it, because I knew it was going to really hurt his feelings. He felt a part of this group. He felt like his positive comments, that's something he could give.
Yeah.
And so that is when I reached out to the individual and I said, hey, I just came across this text, and I don't know if you've been hacked or how this works, but this is not a nice text. I want to make you aware of it. And before I knew it, I was blocked from conversation with him. And I've had conversations with him in the past. So I know he got my message. And when the little, saying comes up, this person is no longer accepting messages.
Yeah.
That it's really you. So I called a friend that I've known for, 15 years that was also in the beginning of the group, of the Happy Group. And they are no longer in the community. And so she's not a moderator anymore. And she told me to reach out to this other particular moderator. So I did. I sent a message and said, hey, I have fellow Happy Group person. I have a really big concern, and so told me to reach out to you. Could you please call me to discuss?
Right.
And a couple hours later, I was blocked from her and I was kicked off of the Happy Group page. So I had to have a friend go on there and tell me whether Gene was still on there or not, because I couldn't even get on there to see anymore, and he was not. So then I reached out to that mutual acquaintance that we had, and I said what happened and why he thinks he can do this. And he said, well, I don't really talk to him that very much. I haven't really talked to him probably since last April, but I'll reach out to him. And well, he sent me a message back and said, I don't know the whole backstory, and that it was that this individual didn't, when I reached out to ask him what happened, that he thought that it was really none of my business, even though he knows how close Gene and I are, because we've discussed it. And that just sends all kinds of red flags to me.
Yeah.
If I have sent a message to somebody and they interpret it and they reached out to me and said, hey, is this really what you meant? I'd be the first one on the phone saying, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that you interpreted it that way. No, of course not.
Right.
But being blocked and then thrown off the site, that tells me something's very, very wrong here.
Yeah. There's all kinds of red flags on that one. And you've been kicked off of other subsequent groups too for trying to get your message out and trying to get some clarity on what is actually going on. I know you had a post in another not so neighborly neighbor group, and also the Nextdoor app. You had your post deleted off of Nextdoor, so there is a concerted effort to shut down your point of view and all you're doing is trying to seek, kind of some common ground to figure out what is really going on.
Correct. And I've also had screenshots sent to me from individuals on other sites that are saying that there is a story behind it. And in other words, alluding that Gene caused problems and that's why he was kicked off and not everybody's going to know. And that's the other reason why I talked to Gene, because I thought I'm going to be totally transparent and be above board. And if, something happened, God forbid, an 87-year-old man moving would get cranky and say the wrong thing and be kicked off a site. But, stranger things have happened. But he was shocked and he was very hurt. He was very hurt.
Well, Sandy, I just want to say you're a great friend to him for sure. I want to unpack one thing though. You had a discussion before. So he ended up listing his house. I guess Mr. Positive engaged him to list the house. Is that my understanding?
No, I don't believe that's how it happened, because when I asked Gene if he knew that Mr. Positive was a realtor, he said, when I first saw the text, and I just calmly said, "Hey, did you know that Mr. Positive sells real estate?" And he goes, "Yeah, I think he does commercial." So he didn't really even know. And and when I talked to him yesterday, he said, "Can you hear me okay?"
Yes.
Okay. So when I talked to him yesterday, I said, "So you did not have any crosswords, anything like that?" And he goes, "No, I remember telling him that I was going to move. And I think he said something about real estate, but, and then that was it." And so I don't want to make it sound like that Mr. Positive, in fact, did try to get him to let him sell his house, because that's not the impression I got from Gene.
Okay. I was just trying to understand how that conversation went. I'm
That's
in the real estate.
what I was trying to do, and reaching out to find out what happened. What is this about?
Yeah, I was asking that because, as you know, I'm in the real estate business. So I wanted to get more of an understanding on that in that discussion. And he's entitled to go with whoever he wants. Quite frankly, he just needs an agreement in place, and he can do what he wants. It's his home, and that makes more sense.
Mm-hmm. And I even tried when it was on the neighborhood app that people were saying, "Oh, well, let's go and rate his business bad, Mr. Positive." I tried to steer away from that. I said, well, first off, how can you go and do that when you haven't used his services? And I don't feel good about that. And I tried to steer people away. Of course, now the post has been taken down, so probably a lot of people didn't see that. But I just wanted the truth to be told and nothing else.
I agree. And, I also agree with don't go in. You don't need to go and leave a ton of bad reviews or anything. If you personally weren't harmed by this guy's business or anything like that, there's no need to do that. I mean, we've seen enough of those childish games over the past 5-6 years.
Correct.
It's bad. It's bad karma. We don't need to do that. But what we do need to do is hold others accountable for being nice to elderly people in our community. Loving your neighbors, looking after our vulnerable population. It sounds like, Gene really was invested into this group and what this group wanted to do, dedicated time and money, and equipment, and to be, shut out like that over something of this nature, what it appears to be, regardless if they have a disagreement, there should have been like a corrective talk. Versus booting. I mean, if somebody's invested that much time and money into what this group wants to accomplish, you would look at them as an asset and not a liability.
Correct.
So I think you're very brave for putting the story out there and standing up to, all these groups that like to boot people off if you don't tote the narrative. I think you're very brave for doing that, and you have free use of our platform if you ever need to get something out in the future. Hopefully we can change some minds and change some behaviors.
Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate that.
We
That's not-
appreciate you.
We appreciate you taking the time tonight to talk to us, and hopefully it'll open more people's eyes of what's going on out there and the control of social media and what happens. This is a free country, Chris. We value freedom of speech, and when it's being suppressed from multiple platforms is what really, really, burns me. It gets me upset over that. So especially a veteran, 87 years old, that is his link to this community. Even in Texas, I'm sure he met a lot of people here and built relationships. And to do that is just
25 years.
Yeah, it's just horrible. It's just absolutely horrible. And I feel for him. But he has an awesome friend in you, Sandy, and you're a good person. I can tell you're a good soul, and you're helping him. And
I appreciate that. But
Yeah.
he's a great guy. He makes it easy. As I always told him, you make it easy.
yeah,
All right. Well, we will go ahead and go to a quick break. We'll be right back. So, y'all, we're not going to a break just yet. We'll probably go to a break in a little bit because it's probably going to get a little heated. You just heard that interview. Hopefully, everybody, I know we were correcting that audio issue, right? I checked it on the phone while that was playing, and I heard audio and stuff. So, hopefully, everybody caught that. If not, it will be in the upload, and there will be a short of this segment. Uploaded shortly after the show closes today. So this is not our story. I want to make that point clear. This is not our story. But we're offering our services, our platform, our voices to support another person in this community that has basically been exiled from, social media platforms. Now, over the past 2.5 years, everybody's been shut in from COVID, forced to communicate via social media. And to shut out somebody, especially an 87-year-old veteran that has donated time and money, and just write them off like a piece of trash on the street, I'm sorry, I got a problem with that. I'm sorry, I do, right? People are humans. We're all human. Regardless of our differences, we're all human. And so, Sandy, appreciate you coming on the show and talking about this. Another person reached out when they saw Sandy, was going to come out and speak about this, and they actually provided some input as well. They weren't able to make it onto the interview session we did last night, but they did provide an email. We've redacted some of that email to, remove names, right? We're not here to slander anybody. We're here to actually let these people get their stories out. And hopefully at the end of this, right, there might be some personal reflection in the people that are running some of these larger groups, right? That's our goal. I hope that everybody reflects on this and says, what can I do to be a better person to my neighbor?
I agree. And you know what, Chris, watching that video again, it just, it saddens me.
It's sad, man.
Because I see a guy that was in isolation for 2 years like everybody else with COVID, right? Then he struggles with his wife, losing his wife, and his only connection was to this community, and the very platforms he belonged to, he was removed from. He lost everything. He lost all connection of who he is, and
over something petty. Too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the whole. I don't know the other side of the story. We're if you're watching, Mr. Positive, if you're watching, and you want to, here's the way I look at it. It can be remediated, right? How do you resolve this issue, right? Is one, do some internal reflection on your behavior and your actions, right? Two, you got to come clean, man. I mean, you got to come out there and say, we talk about this on every show, Mark. I don't know. I think we got a pattern going here, right? Is people humbling themselves and saying, man, I may have made a bad, I know it's been a rough year, 2 years for everybody, right? Even myself, right? Sometimes I ain't perfect. No way, shape, or form, man. But when I do wrong, I know I did wrong. Right? When I do wrong, I know I did wrong. And how do you make it right?
Take ownership, Chris.
Take ownership of it. right? So, hope that's the outcome of this, right? But this is one side of a story. This is somebody's story that was exiled from multiple groups in our community on social media, even on another application on social media. Concerted effort, right? That tells me that there's some collusion going on between several major groups, right, to affect what we honestly believe is a control of a narrative, right? Doesn't matter your narrative. We don't like you. We don't like you putting your boot on our chest. Period.
Right.
I know you got rules for your group. Most people abide by those rules. I abide by all those rules on every group that I'm in. I can't do this. I can't do it. Right. But there are some things that got to be talked about. Like I said last week, not everything is happy rainbow unicorn farts. It's not. So, had a moderator from the same group that we're talking about reach out. Wasn't able to make the interview last night, right? Had conflicting schedule, but was willing to send us an email and said, "You can use my name in this email." Again, we've redacted names, right? We don't want it. We're not casting shade. We're bringing stuff to light. So I'm going to go ahead and show this email. We'll read it off. Not my words, this gentleman's words. Go to web share real quick. Point of reference, right? The text message that Sandy was talking about. She did notify Jean that she took pictures of it. She has talked with Jean, according to her words, her own words, right? The text message basically insinuates this. I'm really disappointed that didn't use me to sell your house. I obviously miscalculated our relationship, and myself and the Happy Positive group could have helped you through the sale and the move. I'm going to take you off all my social media accounts, and you won't see the Happy Positive group any longer. Oh no. Kind of hateful, kind of mean. I don't know the context. I mean, obviously there's a lot lost in translation, especially when you're texting a person that has vision problems. Might have been better served in a phone call. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Again, that's why her friend or his friend is reaching out to get some additional context and effectively booted it as well. The email that we received was from David Hamilton. He said, I'm allowed to, obviously you can see the email. You may use my name. I was an admin and a moderator on and off for several years of the Happy Positive group. Although generally the membership of the Happy Positive group has an honest desire to help the community, I sensed a general lack of compassion and care for the community from the majority of the management team. This is why there's a constant turnover in the admins and the moderators. The exception is Mrs. Positive, who is genuinely a fantastic person. Mr. Positive is only concerned with the appearance of being a good person, which is evident in his disheartening removal of Jean for not choosing him as a realtor. Again, this is David's personal view. After many disagreements on how the Happy Positive group should be managed, I was removed as a member after resigning several years ago as moderator for questioning Mr. Positive about charitable contributions made through a GoFundMe to buy a zero-turn mower for the group. I asked when it had been used to help the community and if it had been used at his new 6,000 square foot home, which would be a charitable fraud. The group only seems to be concerned with power washing sidewalks now, which I hardly see as life-changing. Valid question, right? If you feel somebody's doing something ethical and you're associated with that and you talk to that person, don't really expect that type of reaction. Right, Mark? Would you?
Yeah. No. Very
my
defensive.
Opinion, probably not a right reaction. But it seems to be kind of like nobody will question dear leader. Like maybe we need to rename him from Mr. Positive to Little Kim Jong. Like I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just I'm calling it like I see it. Just calling it like I see it. But I mean, this is dictatorship type stuff. Now, first part in the email though, it's like he generally believes the membership of no, I'm not going to say the name, not going to do that, of the Happy Positive group has an honest desire to help the community. I 100% agree with you there. Most people want to be associated with something positive, happy, serving the community. Or we have so many people that actually go into community service and public service, want to be, volunteers to help out, And so, I agree that the majority of people are doing that, right? The problem lies when you have people that are running a group and the ruse is positive, but the end game may be self-serving or furthering themselves, right?
Yeah.
There's always motive, right? There's always a motive. If the motive is true and genuine and comes from the heart, which is believable, until you start treating people bad and poorly and exiling them and tossing people away and running them over like they're just nothing in the world. That's, I think, where I have a problem with. And then the fact that we have, 2 large groups, Mark, in our community, 2 very large groups. I mean, I think one of them represents a third of our community.
Yeah.
The other one's pretty dang close to that one. And there's a concerted effort to remove a post. And then you see this lapping on of like defense and damage control.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Some of it's almost cultish to a point. It's social media influencing, Chris, is what it comes down to. It what happens is that you want to control the narrative and control everything that's coming through.
And we're living in those times where social media has become very important to a lot of people, right? I mean, it's self-validation, it's your identity, it's who you are, right? And so people do want to be, I mean, like, I don't know, man. Like, I know people who, like, just picked up a new roll of TP, right? It's out there. It's like it's their life now, right?
The thing is, you don't understand the psychological impact of doing that to someone. You don't know someone's circumstances. Like Gene, he has, a good friend and I guess his son and what have you. But again, that's his link to the community, Chris. Yeah. If maybe the only saving grace here is he couldn't read the text. You don't know what would have happened after he read that. You don't know what kind of mental state he was in.
Wrong to do, man. I mean, it's like, as a veteran, I'm always looking out for my veteran brothers and sisters too. And, but I mean, we have an obligation to look after our elderly, our vulnerable people that will take advantage of them, et cetera, right? And so, I just have to disagree with anybody who's gonna, latch their chains up to this boat, man. Until and I know people are like, well, he's my friend. I've done a lot with him. I've done all these, projects with Mr. Positive, and he's heart of gold, right? You're missing the point, man. Friends will call out friends when they do something wrong. Mark, you'll call me out in a heartbeat if I do something wrong. I know you will.
Yeah, likewise, too. Right?
That's tough love.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But it's the right thing to do.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Accountability.
110%.
So, more I think about this, I just get a little bothered. But, the other thing on this is you've got these groups, which I'm going to go ahead and start calling, social media influencer groups or special interest groups, whatever you'll have them be, right? You got city officials latching their chains up to them, right? And so for a city to partner up with an organization that's blatantly violating First Amendment rights of people, right?
It's not good optics, Chris.
It's not good optics, man, especially if you're, I don't know, especially if you're running for office somewhere. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Little point of advice, right? Sometimes things are better left said unsaid.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you.
So, I don't know, Mark, I mean, we could talk about this one for a while or we could just let it go, but I have it genuinely bothers me, right?
when people get attacked for no reason, it's unacceptable, and in Gene's case, it's just, it needs to be corrected is the bottom line. And someone needs to take ownership. You don't deny it ever happened that's
don't run
ridiculous.
from your problems either. Because that actually seems to be what it's like, right? I mean, it's like, hey, you got this email, like, are you doing something? Oh, bye, Felicia. Just gone.
Yeah.
I ain't talking to you. You wrote them off, cut them like a barber.
When groups start doing hazard control, that says to me that's basically painting a different picture there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's a narrative. It's a narrative.
Right.
Thou shalt follow the rules, not tick off to your leader.
Right. Well, and hey, this is their group. They can bounce you anytime they want, right?
They can.
So people need to be aware of this. And all these groups that do this, they're businesses.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, full disclosure, right? I mean, like, are you a community organization or are you a business, right?
Right. I think that's where
the two major
things
that we are dealing with. The two major groups that we have in our community that are on social media are both run by realtors.
Yeah.
They're running them on a business model. It's obvious.
Right.
I bet if we start digging, we'll find out that they're registered as, I don't know, LLCs. Probably, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I could start digging in, though, if I haven't already. I don't know. Maybe I'm tipping my hat a little bit. I don't know. Right? Start digging, though.
Yeah, well, people.
That bloodhound knows mine. Start sniffing it out, right? But at the end of the day, man, like, look, I ain't got nothing against you. I think what your group started out to do was 100% on. You were on it, right? I don't know. With responsibility comes power. Power, man, changes a little bit. I want to take a little bit of a moment, just start reflecting on your behavior and how you're treating other people, especially 87-year-old disabled veterans that are recently widowed.
Yeah, I agree, Chris. Yeah.
It ticks me off, man. I mean, I don't know. I gotta be careful with what I say, right?
Yeah.
But it ticks me off. Very much. Even if it wasn't an 87-year-old veteran, it ticks me off when people can just discard and throw away and trash another human being like they're worthless, have no value, right?
Yeah.
Because they have a differing opinion. It's not right, man. It's not right. Do some soul searching.
I totally agree. Well, let's go to break, Chris, and we'll get back at this.
All right, buddy. We'll be right back, y'all.
These walls, they're mine. You better prepare for the thunder. about to even score. Get ready, like nothing you've seen before. Get ready, I'm about to even score. Get ready, like nothing you've seen before. Get ready, yeah, I'm about to even score.
And we are back. Sorry, I got a little hot there, man. I'm sorry, man.
No, that's okay.
I'm sorry,
You know,
man.
Everybody gets to a breaking point, but you made some great points, Chris. We're just looking for accountability at the end of the day, and we'll see what happens. So
We have a mayoral race going on, right?
Oh yeah,
And another person, man, threw their name in the hat. And I don't know if anybody really knows about this guy, right? But I noticed this guy started following our page and watching our videos and stuff, and I'm like, who is this fella? And so I reached out to him. Have not had a moment, busy week, man, busy week with everything going on. Have not had a moment to follow up with that phone call, but you were telling me, man, you was working the other day, and then like the guy we were just talking about just showed up to the office.
yeah. I'm sitting there working. This cat comes strolling in and introduces himself as Randy Murray. So I had him sit down for a little bit. We talked for a little bit, and he was telling me he was having a barbecue as a launch for his campaign. I planned on being there. Unfortunately, I couldn't. I got called down into Rogers, and I had stuff going on, and I do apologize to him. But we're excited with him. I think he's gonna do good. I think I talked to him briefly about coming on the show, and he was definitely interested. I said, you can talk about your platform, and so we'll reach out to him and see if we can have him on.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't talking about Randy, man. And, I mean, like, that's the thing is, like, it goes back to these social media groups, right? I mean, like, they're running them and they're promoting a candidate, right? And that goes into the dangers of social media influencers. So, we didn't really talk about that too much, but you got people in the community that have a vested interest, right? And so they're going to promote the guy that's going to do what they want to do, which is, it's their right to do that, right? But you got to give everybody a fair shot too.
Right. Randy seems to me like he's a guy's guy, man. He's not part of the political machine. He's a guy next door. So, I mean, I think I'd like to hear a little bit more about him, and hopefully he takes us up on it, and comes on the show. Maybe if we got time next week. I know we got a lot going on, and but I'd love to get him in here and have an interview with him. So, Randy, if you're listening out there, I'd love to have you on. To shoot us an email, and either Chris or myself, and we'll make arrangements to get that done. Right, Chris?
Yes, sir. We'll schedule it. We'll get you on. We'll let you say your piece, man. I'm excited to have somebody that's like, not a career-long politician, right? Fresh thinking, new blood, different perspective. I mean, if you're kind of stuck in that little political world, man, it's a revolving door, man.
Yeah,
same stuff, new diaper, whatever you want to call it. But I'm excited to hear about what Randy wants to achieve. I've read some of the stuff. He's he's a successful concrete man. He's worked on nailed some pretty big projects too. I mean, I think he worked on Crystal Bridges, the Bentonville Community Center, Rogers Aquatic Center. So
wow.
You got to know something about business to be able to land something like that, and actually like pull it off. So I'm excited. Hopefully Randy comes on. Randy, if you're listening, shoot us an email. I plan on giving you a call early next week and trying to line this up. So. Hope to hear back from you. Hope you pick up my phone call, and hope to have you on. Let everybody hear about you.
Yeah, I agree. All right, what are we going to roll into? Okay, so
what are we rolling into next?
We had all this rain, Chris.
Yes. But there was, the Veterans Memorial did not flood. It did not flood.
That is very true. You're correct.
Shocker.
I know.
Shocker,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that Bentonville, the dam, the Lake Bella
The
Vista.
dang damn.
Yeah. So we won't get into all the specifics behind it, but
Yeah, I guess the case was sent back. Obviously that was pending. It went up. I guess it went up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court set it back to lower courts because there was a point of clarification that they needed, and it boiled down to something with the city attorney, like unsure of the conveyance agreement. They had a meeting in Bentonville. It was called the meeting of the whole or community of a whole or something like that. Friends Little reached out. They needed somebody to record it, right, so that they could dissect it later on and kind of break it down themselves. And what I heard in that meeting, because obviously it's a couple-hour meeting and I'm recording it. I want to make sure it's recording and doesn't bomb out or something. I'm like, they're talking about this court case. All they're talking about is this court case. Like we got to do this for the court case. We got to do that. It's like you're not talking about the obvious problem. What is the obvious problem with this situation, man? Clean it up.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the court ruling that says you can't clean it up.
Right.
Nothing in the court ruling that says you can't remove the failed remnants of the dam. Let it go through court for a couple more years. I mean, if we got to stick this out for another couple of years, man, I don't know about you, but I'm going to start loading up some concrete and dead trees and everything else. It's going to be on the community to do something about it.
When the parcel was conveyed by Cooper, it was for enjoyment of the public use. So now,
nobody can enjoy it right now. Nobody can.
Just use that as a cleanup, and let's get rolling. So
whether or not a dam has to go back in, that's going to be tied up for years now, right? I mean, a couple of years. But I think we can all be in agreement that somebody needs to get off their rear, show up, and clean this up.
Right.
Clean it up. You're obligated to clean it. If you ain't letting nobody in Bentonville pull that off in their yard, you're not.
Yeah.
So why is it okay for a public park to be in that state? Nothing in the court case says you can't clean it up. Nothing.
Yeah.
So I think the city council needs to
be
be like, people need to be going up there and massaging that city council a little bit to get off their rears and do something proactive, maybe reactive.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, it's reactive at this point.
Right. I watched a few minutes of it, Chris, and it was just pointing fingers and nothing was getting accomplished at the end of the day. So we definitely got
typical stuff, right? I mean, nobody wants to actually actually have some resemblance of leadership and actually take care of a problem.
Yeah.
That's all people are looking for, man.
Yeah, there was a lot more that went on, and I know me and you discussed this, and we got to get Greg Van Horn on from the Friends of Little Sugar Creek to break this down a little bit more for us. We understand. I know he's been on top of this, and his group has, and I don't want to spend too much time on it. And maybe over the next few weeks we can have him come on again if he'll do that for us. Would be great. So then we can kind of drill down a little bit more. Because like I said, I watched bits and pieces, and it seemed like the mayor and the lawyers and it was council members, I guess. It was just a back and forth of shouting and we don't know this. We're not sure what happened here, but at the end of the day, it needs to be cleaned up, man.
We can sit here and get all the semantics of the court case and who did and who didn't, or the history of the conveyance agreement, all this. It's like you're ignoring the obvious. Big fat elephant in the room, man. You're ignoring it, man. You're not even talking about the obvious, right? Ooh, what do we do, right? Nothing in the conveyance agreement says you can't remove it,
right?
Nothing, right? It's failed. It's deemed failed by the Army Corps of Engineers. My understanding, right? Yeah. It was failed before it even breached. Now it's a public safety hazard. People getting out there on that little ledge, it's already cracking and stuff. There. My goodness, man, it's going to take one moment, man, where somebody's out there and that collapses and falls on them and crushes them, drown. We had a fence up. Do you got a fence up around the whole dang park? because there's little duck trails. There's little duck, little duck trail, and you're right up on top of the dam, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Captain Obvious flying through the room, though. Dun, dun,
you got
dun.
some video. You got some video of that though, didn't you? I think
I did. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. We'll have to check that out. I don't know.
It's I hate. I mean, maybe I got to start showing up some of these meetings, man, wearing a cape. In that Lone Ranger mask, man. Just be like, with a big O on my shirt, right? Who are you? I'm Captain Obvious, right? I mean, they start showing up like city council meetings like this. Who are you? I'm Captain Obvious. I'm here to educate you on what you should be doing, right? I mean, these are professionals, man.
Yeah.
The simplest solution is usually the right solution.
Yeah.
Address the problem. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know, Mark. I don't know anymore. Yeah. Like I said, third graders be running the world, man.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is a good segue into spying. The DOJ spied on journalists.
Well, this is podcast number 007.
I'm sure this is. I know how you feel about this, and people are fed up with it. I mean, there's just no controls. It's people are just spying on everybody, the public without them knowing.
What was that? The Project Veritas. DOJ spied on journalists through Apple and Google account.
Yeah, so
they don't do that, man. I'm sorry. George Bush assured us that wouldn't happen when he signed the Patriot Act into law, right? I mean, come on, George is a good guy, right?
It's a slippery slope, man. So
slippery slope.
In that situation, I mean, they had access to lawyers' information of these people. They
protected stuff,
protected sources that they got into. I mean, this is dangerous stuff. I mean, you have people that are being exposed. So I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy.
It's scary times we're living in, man. Because I mean, like this is reminiscent of history, regardless if you like history or not, man. There's another regime that actually had this special task force to root out dissenters, and
well, it's like
I'm just saying.
It's blatant government overreach.
At this point, it's weaponization of some of the systems against the population, man. It really, you can't argue with it anymore, man. I mean, we're all surveillance state. We're all surveillance state, right?
Right.
By the way, guy that's working there monitoring my texts and stuff, I'm just a smart ass, bro. Like, I mean, don't take me seriously, okay? I'm just a smart ass.
Yeah. Well, they're turning it back on U.S. citizens, and the surveillance. How far does this go? I mean, to a point.
I mean, they did it with political opponents. They did it with political opponents. Now they're doing it as basically a resource to kind of control the narrative, control breaking news, control potential lawsuits, right? And that, I don't know, man. Down the spiral we go, right? I mean,
yeah, there's no doubt about that. Yeah. So
I just assume everything's recorded. I mean, hell, that's why we record our own stuff, man. Just put it out there, right? I mean, like, look, man, you're recording it. I'm recording it. Wait, at least we're even, right? I said what I said. What did I say? What did I say, Mark? I said what I said. Don't make me do it, man. Right? I said what I said.
Yeah, I mean,
I said what I said, man.
Well, it was a great show tonight, man. There's just a lot of stuff, and man, Sandy, we really appreciate her, and David coming on. I knew, like you had mentioned, it takes a lot of courage to come forward and be the change, man. Be the change, and it's.
Well,
like
courage. Like, here's the thing, man: is people can turn a blind eye to stuff, right? But it's the courageous ones that are willing to call it out.
Yeah.
You can be complacent, you can be mediocre, whatever you're comfortable with in life, right? But don't get mad at people for calling you on your stuff. Don't.
Those are the true leaders, the people that are coming up and stepping up when nobody else will. Those are the leaders. Those are the people you want to align yourself with,
At the end of the day, man, we all got to get along. We all got to live together. I know it sounds like, that Rodney King stuff, right? Well, can we just all get along? The reality of it is that's a very true statement. regardless
Yeah.
of your differences of opinion, what you think of me or what I think of you. I'm not in here beating up nobody, right? I'm calling stuff out, hoping to change your mind, hoping to get you to do the right thing. But I'm not here like to sit there and spread your name all over the interwebs and call you a bad dude.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that you do the right thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's sometimes what the biblical right is like if a man does wrong and go on and confront him, and if he doesn't change and ignores you, grab 2 or 3 friends and go back.
Yeah.
And then after that, if he doesn't do it, you take it to the church. Right?
Yeah.
Church is God's people. Take it to, so there's no. I get why the group exists. I do. I love what the group does. I don't like these one-offs, and it really means we all gotta pray for you, man. Hope that you come around, come to your senses. A bit of power goes to people's head.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're my neighbor.
I wanted to thank everybody tonight for tuning in. I wanted to wish everybody a happy Easter too, Chris, you and your family. And we love everybody, man.
We do.
All we got is love, man.
All we need is love. All right. Well, that's been a show. We're calling it a little bit early tonight, man. So,
Yeah.
Remember to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube. That's all I got, man. I don't know. I mean, like, hit that little like button, though. Help us beat that algorithm. We're almost over the hump on the algorithm, by the way, too. I've been looking at some of the analytics, and we're getting there. We're getting there.
All right.
Sally,
All right, we appreciate
Sally
you.
B, go Elon. Oh, yeah, Elon, man. Go Elon. Newsfeed's been all Elon this week. I don't even have the energy to talk about that. But y'all have a great night. Have a great weekend. Great Easter. Remember, Jesus is the reason for the season. We love you.
Take it easy.
Got to find that outro button because my buttons ain't working, bro. Where's my outro? Intro? Man, is it gone? Gremlins. Is it gonna work? Yeah, it works.
Take a stand, everybody, come take my hand, walk this road together.